Both of my younger brothers died with beautiful dreams inside. Very close to the day that they passed away, I was discussing with them about how to take some next steps on these dreams. But for the most part, they ran out of time. And that's usually a cliche, don't die with your dreams inside, a buzzword phrase that we throw around, but sometimes it actually happens. And I woke up a few days ago to see the news that Johnny Geaudreau and his brother Matthew had passed away. Both died riding their bikes when hit by a drunk driver, and having lost two brothers myself, it really put me in a difficult headspace for the day. Not super negative, bringing back some pain and tears for sure, but mostly just a reminder of the fact that life can end in an instant. And it naturally makes me wonder how much time we have. I look up to Gary Vee as a creator, and he often says that you have tons of time, that age is one of the most misunderstood things that we have. No matter how old you are, you're never too old to take on a new project. No matter how old you are, you're still young. Now, it's possible that we have a ton of time, but it's equally possible that our last day could be today. Another hero of mine, Jesse Itzler, used to write the most likely amount of days that he has left on his wrist. Of course, he doesn't know the exact day, but he uses the average, and every day it counts down by one. Now, I've always been pretty aware of this number myself. When I was a kid, I had a huge fear of death. I was scared of dying and illness. For about 20 years, I was really healed of all of that. I suppose I would say in recovery, but having kids brought back a lot of those feelings, both not wanting them to get sick or die, and also wanting to be there to see all the milestones in their lives. I've been around death a lot in my life. I lived in a funeral home when I was a kid, which is something that we could talk about in a future episode if you'd like. But they say that emotions make us remember things, which is a great side note for teachers and anything you're trying to learn. How can you make it emotional? Well, I really remember a lot of the times that I had to deal with death in my personal life. There are too many to share, so I'll stay on task here with the point that we don't know when our time will come. A really dope hip-hop artist made a song about my brother called Why Do the Good Die Young? And it's just a matter of fact that time waits for no one. I really looked up to my Uncle Jay, and I can't imagine how many more memories we could have made, but he passed away when I was 12. His 3 kids were just toddlers at the time. Fast forward a few years, I'm 16 years old when one of my greatest mentors and coaches dies. His wife was pregnant with twins. And then my own brother never got to see his baby either. Just a few years ago, 2020, he loses his life in a car accident while his partner is pregnant. So grief is a pretty damn consistent topic in my life. Not something I'm happy about, but something that I've learned can give us energy to use. Most people who talk about death think that it's all doom and gloom, unless, of course, you're my friend Mara, who founded Hello Mortal and Death Archetypes to help people discuss the topic more openly. The key to all of this is to find a way to worry less. I'd love to say never worry. That can be challenging because no doubt there's a very dark, dangerous road that we could go down when we lose a loved one, but there's also a very powerful, beautiful road that we could take too. There are 2 big things that have helped me that I hope will help you too. 1, understanding that worrying creates literally 0 value. It's like manifesting and praying for things that you don't want to happen. Don't ever worry that you'll get sick or that your kid will die, but that's easier said than done. So what do we do about it? There's a great golf tip that athletes who struggle with thinking of all of the bad things that could happen, and it goes like this. Sometimes golfers have trouble keeping the ball in play. It's almost like the hazards have a magnetic pull on the ball. And when people have trouble not thinking of a forest or not thinking of water or sand, that's exactly what they think about. Oftentimes, that's exactly where the ball gets hit. It's simple. When you think of the hazards, that's where you hit it. So you'd think that it's an easy adjustment. Just don't think about them. But it's not that simple. And let's do an exercise to demonstrate. Do not picture a crazy monkey. If someone says don't picture a crazy monkey, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most people, it's a crazy monkey. Now, if you don't think of a monkey, you'd probably make a pretty damn good golfer, but most of us can't say don't think of something. Instead, we need to purposefully replace it with something beneficial or at least neutral. In golf, maybe the vision of how your ball is going to fly, or it could be a line from a song that you like. And in life, we need to give ourselves similar distractions. Not the type of distraction where we numb ourselves with food, entertainment, or drugs, but the type that allow us to live our best life. It's okay to care about our health. It's okay to care about our business. It's okay to care about our kids, but it's not okay to worry about these things. Worry adds no value at all. We need to focus on what we can control, to care, but not worry. I'll share a personal story to explain the difference here. I've had a lot of heart disease in my family. I've also been a bit hard on my own heart over the years, so I'm kind of scared of having a heart attack. With that, I'm trying to get better at reducing the likelihood of that happening to me. So I try my best to do things that help. It's not like you just don't care about it. It's that you don't worry about the results. So in caring about my heart, I'm trying to have a big purpose in mind. For me, I want to be able to see my kids grow up and be a grandfather to their kids. And then day to day, I try to eat whole foods, drink lots of water, exercise, sleep, steer clear of toxic information or relationships, and just do as many things that help that I have control over. Basically, we want to become indifferent. Not indifferent to the fact that we will die someday. We don't get a say in how that plays out anyways, but we can become indifferent to all of the worries that go along with it. More indifferent to the things that you can't control. So, I don't worry about dropping dead right now, or I should say, I try not to worry about it. Of course, fear creeps in because this is one of my struggles. Mental health is an infinite game. But I try my best to put all of my attention, aka to distract myself with what I can control, to be really picky about my priorities, what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do. The second thing that really helps me is understanding that you will live on forever. When it comes to this topic of death, I really appreciate the better understanding that I have now of how we leave legacy. Whether we like it or not, all of us do. I think a lot of people hear this term, legacy, and connect it to some big celebrity like Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson, Chris Farley, or like Einstein or something. But your everyday average Joe or Karen, hardly anyone knows them. They leave legacy too. You may be someone that only one other person knows, but they'll think about you long after you're gone. They will still make connections and learn things from what you said, or the things that you did in your life will prompt moments later on in their life. Every one of us leaves a legacy. I still remember my first grade and my 8th grade teachers who sadly passed away when they were teaching me. I mean, that's like 30, 40 years ago, and I still remember them. We all leave legacy. Now, I used to struggle when I would think existentially because I would think, what's the point in trying to build a big business? What's the point in trying to write a book? And it sounds crazy and depressing to think about, but what's the point in having kids? What's the point in even living at all? That clearly wasn't the right way to think, but I know that it's so common for some reason. Part of that was really overthinking about what it takes to put a dent in this world, what it takes to have impact. I know now that it's worth it to try things, to put things out into the world, and heaven forbid, if I do pass away tomorrow, even this one episode right here might change someone's life. Where these two things tie together is that you'll leave a legacy no matter what you do. But this is something that you can control a little bit. You get to choose what you create that will be left behind. So whatever that thing is that you want to do someday, I really think if there's any way that you can put a version of it out into the world, you should. And if you do, when you do, be sure to share it with me because I really want to celebrate what you create. JKL community, thank you so much for listening to these episodes. The last couple days, a lot of people have sent messages about something that the episodes made them go and do, as well as some ideas for questions that can be answered on the show in the future. That type of back and forth is what I'm all about. So send me a DM at Just Keep Learning, an email, whatever way you prefer to chat. Look forward to hearing from you and seeing all the great things you're up to. Until the next episode, all the best, and remember, just keep learning.